The next item on the agenda, there's been obviously tons of time that we've each put into trying to get the Bush Grant proposal written up. We've had a couple different versions. We've had individual conversations per region. We've had Google Docs out there to add input. And then we had kind of an ad hoc small group working really hard on getting it to the version that you can currently see. So thanks to Michelle, Julie, Senta also helped out just because I know that's not my skill set. So Senta volunteered to kind of be the person for MCH having a role in that. So what we're gonna do now, and this really flows into the budget meetings. So we have had a couple, and we've got the pretty much all the other ones at least scheduled. So these flow really well together. So I want to make sure too is that we're all in consensus on the content, not necessarily wordsmithing or checking, you know, there should be an apostrophe here or there, but just really on the content of what the proposal speaks to. So if you're on your computer, there is the click here button to view the document. So that will bring you to the most recent version of our Bush Grant proposal. And what we'll do is we'll just take turns reading a question. If you don't want to read, that's totally cool. Just say pass and we'll go on to the next person. We'll read a question and then pause and see if anybody has any, I don't know, any highlights or something that they want to speak on to the answer to it. So why don't we start with question one? So just read the question and then read the response. And Julie, if you would read number one.
Sure. What is the problem that you're trying to solve with the work proposed in this application? How did you decide to focus on this problem? The people with the power to make political, procedural, and practical decisions are operating without critical information that could change the trajectory of preventing and ending homelessness. Through the Heading Home Together Leadership Circle, HHTLC or Circle, we are creating the space and structure for people with lived experience to have an equal voice in the next iteration of Minnesota's plan to prevent and end homelessness. Our solution is to build a sustainable, powerful network of statewide organizations, individuals with lived experience of homelessness, and those staff who are intimately working with them. We are calling this the Regional Experts Network. Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless is a statewide advocacy organization and the hub of nearly 150 direct service providers. They are facilitating the REN planning and coordinating efforts.
Okay. So some time to, I know it might be, some people like to really process. So you can either say, you know, give your input, or if you don't have anything to say, pass, or if you want more time to think about it, just say, come back to me. So we'll keep going down the line and start right with Julie. Is there anything you would want to highlight?
Like corrections or changes or comments I want to highlight?
Or just like, kind of like, are you okay with the content? Is there anything that you feel is missing or something that should be stated more?
I really feel confident with this, with all the statements in here. I think they're very succinct, non-questioning, very clear in what we're wanting to do and why we're focusing. I think it very well answers the two questions that are part of it.
Okay, cool. How about Michelle?
Nope, I'm good. I like it the way it is. I follow what Julie said.
Okay. Sue?
I agree. Looks great to me.
All right. MK? And you might have us on mute.
It looks good.
Good.
Take this. Oh,
Erica,
Yeah, it looks good to me.
you agree?
I agree. We both concur over here.
Rock on. All right, Lutz?
Hi, yeah, I think I'm in agreement with everybody else. The only one tiny suggestion would be, as far as who is informed, who is involved, how did we identify this problem? Is that coming out? That's the only small thing.
Okay.
And not a big deal.
So I'm gonna write in that comment there. I think it gets answered later on, but I'm gonna write, how did we identify the problem? Right, that's what you're saying, is that answered eventually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Renita? Good?
I agree.
Okay. All right. Then we'll move on to number 2. Then it would be Michelle.
Okay. 2, why is it important to address the problem now? How is the identified problem typically addressed in your field or community? Unless we change how plans and decisions are made, Minnesota will, at best, maintain our current level of homelessness. At worst, a small few will continue to profit from homelessness, while hundreds die on the street each year and thousands languish without a place to call home. The current systems and structures rely largely on intermediaries, but lack the embodied wisdom of having experienced homelessness themselves. When those who have experiences with homelessness are brought into the conversation, they are usually tokenized or exploited. To design a plan that accelerates an end to homelessness, the REN needs compensation for our time to expand the number of people engaged in our efforts, and to deepen the involvement of our existing members. To achieve our full potential, the voices of people with embodied wisdom must be at the center of all plans to prevent experiences from being repeated. The role of frontline staff and other stakeholders is to figure out, from their position and place, how they can hold the space for people with embodied wisdom on homelessness to visualize their voice.
All right. So we'll keep the same order just so y'all know approximately it'll be your turn to give feedback. So we'll start with Julie.
I know we're about 30 words too many, but I haven't figured out which are those words that need to be removed. I do know there has to be some paring down and some working to make it more concise. I just haven't figured that out quite yet.
And I should state that there's a character limit. So we could be really, I feel like if we're within 20, 30 words, odds are we might be still within the limit. So we can, so we can check on that too. All right, anything else you'd highlight, Julie, or comment?
Do it your way, too.
All right, then we'll go to Michelle.
Yeah, I don't know, because I can't figure out how much more we could bring down the word count for this one.
Right.
Take out here and there, but anything more than that is just going to take away from the question.
Right. That's why I think for the purpose of this conversation, we'll just kind of assume we're at the right word count. Once we start looking at the characters, then we can worry about that. But anything with the content, Michelle?
No, I like it.
Okay. All right. How about Sue?
I just have a couple of suggestions, and I hope this doesn't come across as wordsmithing, but I'm in the second paragraph. When those who have experiences with homelessness are brought into the conversation, they are usually tokenized or exploited. I would prefer that we say often rather than usually. Also, in the final paragraph, I'm not sure how you visualize someone's voice.
I think that might have been the St. Paul Promise neighborhood comment in one of the iterations. And
again, it's a small thing. Voices are auditory, and so I'm not quite sure how you visualize a voice.
Yeah, I have an idea but I don't know if MK or Eric.
Voice is just another way to say story as well.
Yeah.
A narrative. So
right, and I think that's what you're getting at is the narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. We can totally switch it up to clarify what we can use a different word.
Right, just like you can make your voice be heard, through voting. Which
yes.
Is actually saying something but taking an action.
Yep.
Have their voice.
Yeah, let's change it to narrative or something a little bit more clear.
Right.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to be critical. It just didn't feel like it lined up.
Oh, we totally embrace critical things. We like just critical feedback here. So thank you, Sue. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
With that, why don't we hand out to MK and Erica? Would you have any comments about number 2?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't.
Let's see. Now I was just talking. I was hearing people's concerns around just like tearing down the words so that it fits without messing with the integrity of the message I think we're trying to convey. And so I love doing that work. So I look forward to connecting with you, Matt, along with the other paperwork stuff to also talk about tearing down these words so that it fits within the approximate word limit.
Oh, rock on. Thanks, MK.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so go to Lutz and Renita.
Okay, time.
So Renita had to step away. It's been one of those days here at Lifehouse. So unfortunately, you just got me. But I really like it. I think it sounds really good, and I really appreciate all the comments. So I'm all in.
Awesome. That's high praise right there. All right. So number 3 will go to Sue.
Provide a short overview of the problem-solving process you will use to pursue a breakthrough. I think it's interesting that we're allowed 1,800 characters or less here, and they want a brief one. But anyway, the Regional Expert Network will approach our breakthrough in 2 phases. In phase 1, we will create and define our vision and principles. We will also identify and connect existing efforts with the Regional Expert Network and the Heading Home Together Leadership Circle through relationships and shared self-interest. As partners join in developing a broader and deeper statewide network, we will co-create our vision, principles, and plans to move forward. These plans are currently in the design phase and will be vetted through our vision and principles. In phase 2 and beyond, we will move forward with our plans developed in phase 1 and work toward a sustainability plan for the Regional Expert Network. In all aspects of our work, those with lived experience will be at the center and prioritized. Phase 1, number 1, continue fulfilling responsibilities of the HHTLC to improve the plan to prevent and end homelessness. 2, identify and invite key partners to join the REN in each region. 3, develop new and strengthen current relationships to create a shared vision and principles. 4, with our key partners, create goals for each region that reflect our vision and principles. These must include a truly equitable process, co-creation of plans, accessible and safe spaces, and meaningful compensation of regional experts. Phase 2, number 1, begin carrying out goals on a local, regional, and statewide level throughout the HHTLC. And 2, each goal is centered on enhancing the REN across Minnesota.
All right. So we'll jump back up to the top and go, Julie.
I can't even tell you how many times I've read this thing. So I think from my perspective, if anything could have been improved upon, it would have been by now. Sorry, I don't have much to contribute. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Michelle?
Yeah, I'm with Julie. I don't know, I've read this and read this over and over, and so, yeah, I don't know what else I could add.
Right.
Or add anything.
Right. So just so everybody know, I think we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but not sure if everybody was on the phone. Michelle and Julie were two of the people that have really been reading this over and over and refining it. So it's kind of nice to have other sets of eyes and to hear it out loud. But that's probably why their input's already been written in here kind of, but I do just want to make sure I double check with you again, Julie and Michelle.
No, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep. Sue.
I don't have anything to add to this. I think it looks really good.
Okay. MK and Erica.
Hello. So I think it's good for, it's as descriptive as it can possibly get for where we were starting from. Yeah.
Right. Right. And I do want to say a lot of the specific things in each of your organizations and communities we discussed during the budget meeting. So like, what are the things St. Paul Promise Neighborhood are going to do is what we talk about during those budget meetings. But as Erica was just saying, we don't have enough room to put all 6 organizations' plans in there. So now go to Lutz.
Yeah, I also agree with Julie. It's interesting the small word character limit here, but I think that within this limit, and even though it's a little bit bigger, this is succinct and to the point, and it lays it out. I really don't see how to improve that at all.
Okay. All right. And Lutz, you'll just let us know if Renita's back.
She should be shortly.
Okay, just yeah, let us know. So then we'll go to question 3B. MK, if you'd like to read that.
You pick me. Can I do the next one? Because
Yeah.
I have to just run to the back. And then skip me and Erica right now because we're both on a bathroom and self-care situation right now.
Okay, sounds good.
So what's next? We're here by ear, but not by eyes yet.
Okay, okay.
We will be. Okay.
How about Lutz?
Okay, then mute. And by the way, I see that this is kind of answering the question that I brought up on question 1. Describe the work that brought you to this point and how it has informed the activities you proposed for this grant. As key stakeholders, we're being identified and invited to be a part of the HHTLC. It was apparent there were gaps. The HHTLC and Minnesota broadly lack the statewide network to identify people with lived experience who should be invited into the circle. For the last 7 months, our problem-solving process has included MCH's Director of Organizing playing the role of facilitator and connector between the REN and the Circle. REN members have spent a significant amount of time designing and implementing a participatory process to write this proposal and co-design the attached program budget. Members of the HHTLC are comprised of at least 2 representatives from 9 different sectors, including regional experts, 6 seats in Circle, counties, Homes for All, philanthropy, continuums of care, Minnesota Tribal Collaborative, federal government, faith communities, state government.
Thank you. And we'll go to Julie.
I have nothing to add.
Okay. Michelle?
No, I think it's, yeah, I have nothing to add either. I think it's good.
Sue?
Same, nothing to add.
Yeah. All right. MK, Erica?
Okay, we just sat down back to our computer. Okay, it's 3B.
Oh.
Would you like us to come back?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. Okay. Luce?
It felt really good reading it. So I think it really does. You can forget my suggestion for question 1 because this actually answers exactly what I was talking about. So sounds good to me.
All right. So I did resolve the comment that I had written on top with your question. So I think a little background too on why we listed all the leadership circle members is just so everybody is aware. The leadership circle applied for this grant in the past. They got denied because it wasn't community owned enough. But they encouraged reapply with a different viewpoint. They kind of handed that off to MCH, and that's where we started seeking all you awesome regional experts. But we did want to list, we still have the backing of all the leadership circle members somewhere in the grant, and it felt like this was the best place to do so. We got to backtrack to MK and Erica.
Good. Yes.
All right. So number 4, MK, are you good going to you now?
Yes.
All right.
Who will engage in the problem solving? Who will you engage in problem solving? We are looking for processes that are inclusive, meaningfully engaging key stakeholders, thoughtfully identifying those needed to create the intended change, and whenever possible, including those directly affected by the problem. Our entire scope of work is dependent on it being led by those who have the most embodied wisdom of homelessness and frontline staff working directly in it. Each geographic region led by the regional experts will identify overrepresented populations within homelessness, partners with shared self-interest, and new partners who are needed. The overrepresented population and partners list is extremely long and will be included in our work, but not in the grant application. Currently, the regional experts are based on 6 different organizations throughout the state. They are Churches United for the Homeless, representing West Central and Northwest Minnesota, Lifehouse representing Northeast Minnesota, Stepping Stone Emergency Housing representing Suburban Metro Minnesota, St. Paul Promise Neighborhood representing Metro Minnesota, Safe Avenues representing Southwest Minnesota, and Partners for Affordable Housing representing Southeast Minnesota.
All right, and we'll go to Julie.
Yeah, I'm going to steal Michelle's comment. It's very nice hearing it being read because it adds a different dynamic to the answer of the question. And like, I'm sorry, Lutz, is that how you pronounce your name? Like in the one right above it, how it was read and how it came out, I think it flowed well.
Cool.
I agree.
Nice.
And by the way, my first name is Eric, but there's two Erics here at Lifehouse, so everyone calls me by my last name, Lutz.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying.
And I've worked with Lutz for quite a while now, so it's a habit of mine to say Lutz. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And Sue.
I don't have anything to add. I think it looks really good. Sounds really good.
Cool. All right, MK and Erica.
Good use of 131 words.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
And Lutz.
Renita's back, so she can start.
I already
agree.
You agree?
Yep, and I do as well. I just think it flows really well.
All right. All right. So then we'd have Erica. Do you want to read number 5? You might be on mute.
Oh, okay. 1 second. 5. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Okay. All right. 5. How would you work with other partners through the problem-solving process? Describe the group that has come together to work on this project, the various roles of the people and organizations that are involved, and how you will make decisions together. We are looking for processes that are collaborative, a true joint effort, with partners willing to share ownership and decision-making as they pursue an innovation together. All right. All right. The Regional Expert Network is comprised of individuals with lived experience of homelessness and staff who are intimately working with them. Our mission is to build a sustainable, powerful network of statewide organizations. Today, we have monthly teleconferences, quarterly in-person meetings, in-person participatory budget development, collaborative grant writing, and consistent decision-making. The process to come together has had challenges, as all regional experts have very busy schedules and priorities, but our regional experts agree that the goal is to make the Regional Expert Network productive and valuable so that true change can be experienced. Moving forward, we will use an iterative process of listening, creating, implementing, evaluating, and repeating as needed. With an emphasis on relationships, we will ensure quality, intentional work, and develop solid connections with each other for purposes of sustainability. So if we do this correctly, the Regional Expert Network will have an impact on a local, regional, and statewide level through the Heading Home Together Leadership Circle.
Thank you. Julie.
Just a few very simple edits, but other than that, nothing regarding content.
Okay. Now are you making those edits as we go?
I can.
If you want to. I feel like you're the one that took the thoughts and did the initial paring down the language. Cool.
Yeah, so did you see what I just did?
Yep. Keep with acronyms.
Right. That's
Okay.
all.
Cool. Michelle?
Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
All right. Sue?
I got nothing. Looks good.
MK and Erica?
Good.
And Eric?
Looks great to me. I really like the second to the last paragraph. Productive and valuable so that true change can be experienced. I like that.
Yeah.
I can second that.
You second that, Renita?
I do.
All right. Moving right along. Number 6. Renita, would you like to read number 6?
I'll pass.
She said she'll pass. We're sitting in kind of a weird situation.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
so we'll just bump back up to Julie.
What community assets and resources will you build on as you pursue a solution to your community problem? We are looking for processes that are resourceful, using existing resources and assets creatively to make the most of what a community already has. We currently have resources to support the following: connecting the REN to the HHTLC and applying for this grant to compensate people with lived experience for their time and expertise. Funds are also available to remove participation barriers for people with lived experience. For example, childcare, transportation, etc. Staff time and capacity with participating frontline staff. MCH staff time, travel, and technology as facilitator and connector. The Regional Expert Network will gain the support within their own organization, local partners, meeting civic and faith-based organizations, POCI and LGBTQ communities, corporations, donors, volunteers, etc., continuums of care, and statewide partners. In phase 1, each partner will identify ways they are able to contribute to the Regional Expert Network, including the relationships each partner brings. The hope is that those who have the ability to dedicate time to the work will do so, and those that have finances to share with others will do so in order to expand who is involved at a local, regional, and statewide level.
And I think Elder Pam just joined. Is that correct? She might have us on mute, but I thought I saw her pop up in Zoom. So just let us know if you're there. So we'll go to Julie and Michelle.
It still seems a little choppy to me, but I don't know how to make it more concise, so I would love feedback.
Okay. Sue, Sue, you're up.
Yep. I'm not quite sure what to do to smooth it out. You know, I think it's really complete. It's as concise as it can be. This may just be a section that will feel a little choppy because it needs to be bulleted.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. MK Erica.
I think that it's a good. I mean, again, there's only so much we can give them, being that we are at the beginning of this work.
Right. All right. Lutz and Renita.
It also is choppy, but I think Sue is right with the bullet point. I don't have a whole lot to add there. Are we making an assumption that they're going to know the acronyms POCI and LGBTQ?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm just going to write that in. They know the definition. So I'll mark that down as something for us to touch base on. So, all right. Why don't we go to, just for the sake of time, instead of answering some of the questions, we'll just list the questions. So number 7, that would be back up to Julie. Oh, wait, no, Julie just read Michelle.
All right. All right. Progress during grant term. Provide a numbered list of key outcomes you anticipate achieving by the end of the grant term. What you will increase, decrease, improve, etc. Because of the work you've proposed, this is the place to be practical about what you hope to accomplish during this grant period. The REN will expand to even more communities across the state. The basis of our initial outcomes is to ensure each person is valued appropriately and adequately within the REN work and the HHTLC. Parallel to this, we will be working with communities across the state to do the same in local and regional decision-making spaces. Some outcomes will include providing people with lived experience with a greater opportunity to have the power to make policy, procedural, and practical decisions to prevent and end homelessness. Designing a truly equitable process that is contagious and has strategic value. Co-creating realistic plans for ending homelessness. Inviting regional experts to accessible and safe spaces, and compensating those regional experts in a meaningful way. Including more people with lived experience and diversity as defined by the overrepresented populations within homelessness in the REN. Paying people with lived experience adequately to have leadership positions. Dedicating participation and powerful, meaningful roles to people with lived experience. Encouraging and incentivizing organizations to hire people with lived experience and or change criteria in job postings. Encouraging changes in funding decisions, ordinances, and policies that reflect true needs of those experiencing homelessness. Developing a statewide network which those with lived experience and those staff working with homeless populations can plug in for support.
All right, so we'll go right to Julie and Michelle.
I think those are really powerful outcomes. I honestly do. And yeah, I think they're great.
All right. Sue?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I don't have anything to add.
Okay. MK Erica?
Or put these two together too. So I go ahead, Erica. You go. Okay. I think so. Number 4. I think we can embed number 4 into number 2. At the end, where after inviting regional experts to accessible safe spaces and compensating those regional experts in a meaningful way, and then tacking on number 4, i.e. paying people with lived experiences adequately and developing leadership and developing them into leadership position offering leadership development support in position. Twice, yeah. So I think we can collapse number 2 and number 4 together.
Would
save some space.
Yeah, are you able to make those suggestions just right in the document, or do I have to do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Lutz and Renita?
I agree. And again, at first I was going to say, but what is going to be the ultimate? But I got ahead of myself. 8 is your long-term vision. I like that last suggestion about merging the 2 bullet points also.
Okay. All right. So, yep, that's a good segue then. Number 8, our long-term vision. Sue, if you want to read that.
Yep, your long-term vision. Though the immediate goal is to build a sustainable, powerful network of statewide organizations, our overarching goal is to create a real solution to prevent and end homelessness in Minnesota. Funding from the Bush Foundation will lay the foundation, and our partners will find ways to invest in a long-term REN that shares our values. And REN will always be vital in ending homelessness and preventing it from happening again. This will lead to a decision-making process that does not view those with the embodied wisdom of homelessness as optional or an added bonus. They will be viewed as equally important as any other partner. By including those with lived experience in the process, by default, there will be less generational homelessness, greater representation in influential positions, less of a stigma around homelessness, and a higher quality of life experience. An increase in equity of targeted investments in ending homelessness. Creation of a system that includes the REN to understand homelessness. This will be a go-to place that includes a collaboration across the entire state of people working towards ending homelessness and people with lived experience. It will have a trusted and effective reputation that is built on relationships and quality data. Homelessness will decrease and data will show a direct connection to REN. A comprehensive understanding of how and what homelessness truly looks like.
All right, Julie, Michelle?
I don't have anything to comment.
Me neither.
Okay, Sue?
Just when I was reading it, funding from the Bush Foundation will lay a foundation or will lay the foundation. I wonder if we could substitute groundwork instead of foundation, just because we're using that word a couple of times. But again, wordsmithing looks good.
All right, I wrote that comment down. Cool. MK and Erica? Might be on mute.
Over here. It looks good. I agree with the foundation comment because we say Bush Foundation will lay the foundation. It's kind of weird sounding.
There we go.
That's, yes. Yes. Perfect.
Nice. All right, Lutz and Renita?
Sounds good. I also was stuck on that line, and so the Bush Foundation will lay the groundwork, and our partners will find ways to invest. Yeah, I don't want to be nitpicky, but is that too vague? Do we have to say something about how we're going to do that? And maybe I'm overthinking this, folks.
But it's a good question to consider, so I'm going to write that question down to be more specific. All right. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. So if it's okay, if we just go a few minutes over to finish up number 9, and then the rest of the agenda we'll end after this, and I'll just recap the rest of the agenda quick. But if you got to go, you got to go. Totally understand. But if you can stay on MK, if you'd be willing to read number 9, 9A and 9B.
Sure. Is the primary purpose of the proposed work to actively reduce structural or systemic gaps in access, outcomes, opportunities, or treatment based on a person's race, ethnicity, or economic standing? At least 50% of community innovation grants will be for projects that address racial or economic disparities. Yes. If yes, how? The Bush Foundation will take your, okay, I'm going to read So Bush Foundation is going to take our entire application into consideration when determining whether the work fits with their above commitments. This is our response. Heading Home Together Leadership Circle unanimously prioritizes an inclusive culture of race and equality. In order to do this, all of those who participate in the Heading Home Together Leadership Circle and the Regional Expert Network must fully agree to work with those who are experiencing homelessness regardless of race, ethnicity, or economic standing. Homelessness is a structural and systemic injustice that includes economic standing, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identification, criminal records, generational homelessness, educational gaps, etc. There is not a current structure in place for the regional experts to be a part of making decisions. The current structure allows those who hold the power to make decisions, and the rest of us adhere to a standard of being okay with it. It is not working. We need to, what? Okay, okay, Erica's in my ear, I'm sorry. It is not working. We need to take drastic, immediate steps. We must organize together with those who have lived experience as they know what they need, with those who are providing services as they know the potential of what can be accomplished. The Regional Expert Network is going to ensure we change this.
All right, let's go to Julia and Michelle.
Sorry, Michelle had to leave. She had another meeting to go to. I'm good with it. I think it's strong. Yeah, we need to pare it down a little bit, but we'll figure that out.
Okay. Sue.
I think I'm okay with it, and I appreciate the inclusive language in the first paragraph. I'm wondering about, and the rest of us to adhere to a standard of being okay with it. It feels like we're very inclusive in the first paragraph, but then in an effort to be inclusive of underrepresented demographics, we do a little us and themness in the second paragraph. I'm not quite sure what to do with that, but it just doesn't quite, it's not quite cohesive for some reason.
So I think where it says the current structure allowed, and the rest of us, we can just say, and those of us who are not intolerant, something like that, instead of saying us.
Something like that, yeah.
It was that.
I think the whole idea is to really honor the desire for broad inclusiveness and to, you know, to embed that. So.
Yeah, Erica, was that you chiming in too with Sue?
Yeah.
Would you mind just, you can type in the suggestion of what you're thinking there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then we have MK and Erica.
Oh, we're wordsmithing.
Okay.
Our stuff will be reflected in the edits.
Okay. Eric and Renita.
It's okay to call me Lutz, man. Rita had to go. Our youth center is open, and she's going to run the show. I agree with all the suggestions, and I'm sorry I don't know how to correct that, but I do appreciate those of you who noticed the almost like the division there. And then we're okay with 9A just being a yes, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's fine, but I mean, is that what they're looking for? Do we need to expand that at all? I don't know.
Right.
And folks, I'm so sorry, but the next meeting is in the next room, and I can hear them, and I'm about 10 minutes late. Is it okay if I let you go?
Yeah, this was the biggest thing we wanted to get done. So.
Okay. Thanks, you all.
Thanks. All right. So.
Matt, can I interject? It's Julie.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think 9A being just a yes answer, I think is completely appropriate because it's a yes or no question. Plus with 9B, it's saying if yes, how? So I think anticipating it just being a yes or no question answer is sufficient. I think why, from my perspective, why they were so different paragraphs, one being inclusive, one being exclusive, was to show how we will change the system to be inclusive where currently it is not. So making, I guess, more of a gradual transition might make it flow better, like you were saying, Pastor Sue, but I think that was the intent behind why there was two different paragraphs like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, you know, obviously, you know, I wasn't able to be a part of the editing whenever that happened. I know I had planned to, and then I was pulled away. Just an observation.
Right.
Appreciated.
What? It's first around those who hold the power to make the decisions, with the expectation that those without decision-making power.
I think. Oh, I think we can hear your internal dialogue going on there. So, so I think, yeah, this shows a lot that the work Michelle and Julie really put into this produced a great result, but then also realize, I hope you each were able to see snippets from different conversations you've had incorporated into this, because there's a lot of intentionality in making sure that everybody's comments were included in one shape or another. Might have been different grant language, but the concepts we were really intentional to capture. So now if you can just quick bounce over to the agenda if possible. So I just want to throw out there setting the budget. We do have, and MK, me and you will talk offline, it sounds like, now that you've got things in order with the contracts and all that, so some of this we'll talk about separately. But so setting the budget, we hope on October 23rd, that's our next monthly meeting in place of the November meeting because of Election Day on November 6th, which was also thanks to MK for catching that. So October 23rd, we hope to have everybody will have a brief paragraph summarizing how they would use the monies and then also an amount. And we'll just, that will be our first time sharing with everybody what we're each thinking about applying for money and how each organization will specifically use the money. So if everybody could send me that info by October 19th, that would be great. And again, I'll send this out email. And if everything goes well, and this is all a tentative timeline, and I'm assuming there'll be some negotiating within the budget. So that initial deadline that we had, October 23rd to October 31st, we're going to keep that as our deadline to submit, but realizing there's a likelihood that there'll be some negotiating that takes place within the budget. We won't debrief the September Leadership Circle meeting just because we're going over, but if you're there, I'm sure Julie, as I said, or Julie, Jen Ho was going to reach out to you, so hopefully that happened. And that's it. Anybody have any questions or comments before we end the meeting?
When's the next meeting, Matt?
October 23rd, 2 to 3 p.m.
I said where?
Oh, where? It'll be another Zoom one.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Got
Yep.
it.
Yep. So, and then once we make these final tweaks, we'll send out the Bush proposal again in lieu of our October 23rd meeting. But y'all have access to this link, so you can always pull up the link and refer it whenever needed. So. And I was going to say before Luce got off the phone, but we had the honor of being on this call with the Steve O'Neill Outstanding Organizer of the Year Award, MK, and the Bruce Vento Services Worker of the Year in Eric Luce. So this is a good group of people.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
Nice, congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Good news. I found a home for the tree.
Oh, where?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's our compliance director at Wilder, Christine Preston. Her husband is pretty much an arborist by hobby, and he's gonna find a beautiful home in their backyard.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
For the tree.
Nice.
And hopefully it won't get eaten by deer, but if it does, it's okay too.
It was meant to be if it happens.
Yeah.
That's what life there.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.